Well, thank you. Firstly, welcome to this day of the month, June, and I hope you all enjoy the weather and with the agenda. First item on the agenda is election of chair of the committee. Lisa. Any other nominations? Okay, so very well on that, Nancy. Thank you very much for the confidence.
Thank you for the year that you've done as well.
I enjoy it. Item 2, which is apology. We've been advised that we have the new apology regime or reasons for apology. So have we got any apologies tonight?
So for reason number 6.
And are we with this?
I propose that we accept.
You said it,
Yeah.
in favour. Thank you. So if only life would have been easy as that when I was growing up. Right, item 3, the election of the vice chair of the committee for 2026.
I don't propose Rowena. Rowena did a cracking job on the Black History Month event last October. She's chaired the diversity group well, and long-standing councillor now. And as deputy mayor, I think she'd make an excellent vice chair of this committee.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All those in favour?
Who's got to ask if there's any more?
Oh, we forgot. Yeah, any other nominations? Thank you, Mayor. Any other nominations? No. In which case we move to a vote. All those in favour? That's unanimous, Rowena. Apologise for
Thank you.
anything I might do.
No, good luck.
I'd like to ask if we can minute our apologies to Councillor Mahi for all the things he's done, not only in the last year but in previous years where he's been chaired and vice chair of this committee, etc., etc.
Thanks, you said apologies.
Apologies.
Yeah.
You've not seen me now.
Sorry, I meant thanks.
Your apologies. Apologies are accepted.
Yes.
I'd like to second then for I can remember many dark evenings when Andy and I have been at events, last people leaving, first people arriving, and the thing which you can always remember with Andy is he orders a lovely tub of chocolates and drinks and not that.
No pressure with me.
No pressure. And he's kept me he's very understanding as well.
I might stretch to a carton of bungo.
Yeah, but no, and
Between you.
and he's a very capable man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Which case minutes of the last meeting.
Declaration of interest? Declaration of interest.
Sorry, no, I just looked at the screen. Declarations of interest. Any remarkable declarations of interest stranger than you declared on your declaration of interest? I wouldn't imagine there is any. No declaration of interest. Thank you. Minutes of the last meeting, which was on the 30th of March. Now seems quite a long time ago, isn't it? If there's anything remarkable or on those minutes, if you know if there is one change to be made, but apart from that, I think they're okay. Everybody else with the minutes okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Show of hands. Thank you. Agreed unanimously. Right. Next item is budgets. Agenda item A. Really, nothing significant in there, but we can go through it as a whole. I think. Any comments on it? If you want a little time to look through it, please do. But it's pretty standard affair what we come in goes out, and sometimes we underspend, but we budgeted for the cost of the events. Are they all agreed?
Yeah.
Thanks very much for that, and thanks for the time producing them. In which case, we'll move on to item 7. There's a misprint on the agenda. That's the computer, not the office. It says 8.1. It's meant to be 7.1. Celebrate Buckingham. We can go into the third report corner.
Which is self-explanatory, so it's in 3 weeks. Hopefully you can all make it. We've got live music from ukulele band. We've got some country dancing, which hopefully people will join in. And we've got today just confirmed a university band as well. So hopefully we'll get some students. Lots of charity groups, some local traders, lots and lots of new games. So hopefully it'll be a good day.
We agree to book the weather.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Are we happy with that report? That's done.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the report, obviously. I won't be there for much of it, because it clashes with the literary festival. So I think maybe next year we can try and avoid that clash somehow, that would be good. Obviously 2 big events in the town on the same day, we're going to book it, if possible, would be great. And certainly I booked them in booked in various people I was going to see, and then realised it was celebrating Buckingham Day. So I'll try and make some of it. The other thought that occurred to me is, do we celebrate what the town council does on that day? Obviously, it's good to celebrate what other organisations are doing, and that's one of the main purposes. Do we have anything that celebrates what we do as a town council?
Yeah, we have a small usually, don't we? Big small.
Yeah, and we've also got tip coming this year as well.
Oh, okay,
So
great.
we have an actual tip store with some of the things that we haven't sold. Like the
Okay, that's great. That's brilliant.
I was just going to say, a few years back, it used to be the weekend before. I remember once it was like the 14th of June or something, celebrate Buckingham Day. Maybe in future, if we can shift it to the weekend prior, so it wouldn't clash with the literary festival.
maybe we need to camp with the
Yeah.
I've got to check those out.
We are lucky, aren't we, that we've got so many events going on in the town, and what we should be doing is, everyone's right, if we can move things around and make it work better, we should do that. Then we can all go to all the other things as well.
Yeah.
Given the time. So are we happy to thank all of the report? And,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.
By the recommendation, we should vote on the recommendation on point 1.
Richard.
Right, you're agree. Thank you. Which rate? Armed Forces, David, could you?
You proposed that, did you?
Yeah, I propose that, and Rebecca seconded it.
Well, apologies.
Wait a few quick, I apologise, don't I? No, don't worry. Armed Forces Day, 7.2. Paul again.
So at the last meeting, we voted to say that we could organise an Armed Forces Day event if we were able to. I've worked closely with one of the veterans in town, so we have a small event after the flag raising. We're hoping to have a lone piper at the flag raising as well, and then we'll move to outside the old jail. If it's raining, we'll go inside the exercise yard. So we've got some local groups that veterans may want to attend. We've got Royal British Legion trainees kindly agreed to come for the walk and talk group. We have men in sheds are going to come along. The air cadets are coming and they are going to do some demonstrations and a little bit of recruitment. And we've got some singers as well. So that's for a few hours outside the old jail. Just to mark Armed Forces Day a little bit more than just the flag raising, not just the flag raising, because that's obviously a big part of it. Thank you.
Yeah, can I just say thank you so much, Paula? I think this is the biggest and best one yet. So really looking forward to it.
But, is there anything you need from any of us on the day?
If anyone knows any veterans, I've got a few veterans that are going to come along, hopefully with their medals and their caps on. But if anyone knows any local veterans that may like to come along that people can have a chat to, And that would be really helpful if you put me into it.
Okay.
Would you members agree to just send a note out to all members, because we're not all members, and other members might have military connections or something. We'll say that,
Also staff, right,
yeah.
it might be good for everybody.
Yeah. Saying that I've got any military connection.
No, I don't.
We record our thanks to
Yeah.
all the folks, we record our thanks
Yeah,
and
thank you.
agree the recommendation.
Yeah.
So who was your first and second?
Yeah, bring in a second. Okay, well, we'll move on to the next thing, which is a quite large item, which is the fridge 2026. The recommendation you'll agree at the end of it, all we want to take us through it because it's quite a lot of items and where we've got to.
Okay, so everything on here is confirmed now, so it's quite an action-packed fringe week. So we've got lots of different organisations involved. So we've got the Community Orchard, the Picnic at Dover Peace Walk, which is the railway group as well. So that's really nice to see that. Communal Boxwood Fiddle, Crafts at Chantry Chapel, new nature trail in the park. We've got Nature Makers, which is an organisation that comes in and they bring flowers and pots and all natural materials, and their kids can make animals out of them. Bookfest at Lace Hill, so you may all like to come to that because you can handle the stick insects and the scorpions and all of those. Quiz at the Grand Junction, Art in the Market we normally have, and the People's Emergency Briefing film place that's taking place on the Friday. And the MP is also going to that, and the tickets are free and they can be through the Film Place website, you can get that. And we've got a Flower Farm Fun Day, and they're also doing a photography competition for different age groups on nature and wildlife, and that will be presented at the Family Farm Fun Day. And then it doesn't really then there's an overlap maybe an hour with Bike Club, but not a great deal. So theirs is on the day, and then Family Fun Day at Lace Hill. So there's quite a lot. House of Florists are also in there doing the flower arrangements. Sorry, I missed that. So there's a lot of local businesses involved. It goes out to the flower farm as well, so that's really nice. And Lace Hill, which we don't always have in Fringe Week, so that's really good.
Yeah.
And the recommendation, one of the issues I did have, and traditionally it falls within the summer festival week. But this is also a week now where the schools don't break up. Some of the schools don't break up until Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So some of the children things, I had to move the dates to shunt to the end of the week. So it would be much better if the fringe was the week after. This is traditionally, this is the week it's been, but it does exclude some of the little weeks.
Let John then talk. John.
Yeah, I was a bit confused because I thought, has it already moved forward a week? But obviously this is the current state, we're sticking with these dates.
So we
this
are,
year.
but
But
yeah,
you're saying for the next year,
next year, yeah.
doing the summer holiday.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to that, of course. The pro is, yes, more children will get involved. The con is a lot of people go off on holidays in various places, you know, Norfolk, Marbella or whatever. And then we might lose some people. I can see it on both sides.
And some schools are off, they break up on the Friday, but most don't break up until the Tuesday or Wednesday, and one of our local school breaks up on Thursday. So, you know, there's a lot of things that they will be sad.
I was just going to say that we should just check the school calendars for next summer, because it's quite unusual for them to break up in the kind of mid-20s rather than, because normally they're done by 1920.
No, this is the current pattern, the way this is that it happened, there was a lift bit last year.
Yeah.
Because some of the parents, when they came to the art, said, oh, you know, yeah, they weren't breaking up, or some of their weren't. So I think we need to move it one more week, just
Yeah, makes sense.
So the last week of July.
so it will be.
Yeah.
Fran,
Yeah, I think that if we're doing activities for children, it does need to be in the school holidays. Otherwise, we'll end up with the state school children not benefiting from the things that they're doing, because the paid schools tend to break up earlier. The big increase in the cost of holidays starts when the state school holidays begin, not when the private schools holidays begin. We're trying to look after people that won't necessarily have the means to be going on holiday, doing other things. We're providing entertainment for children at no cost to the families.
thank you.
Just thinking for the Monday, the nature trail walk and the picnic, the schools that are still functioning, it might be nice to invite them along to it.
Well, the nature trail's going to run for 3 weeks.
Oh, right, okay.
So
That's fine.
catch most, and the picnic at Bertie's Walk is actually after school.
Oh, right, okay, that's fine, yeah, thank you.
Just one question for me, the 21st of July, what time's the craft and chapel to the opposite?
So that's in the crash in the Chantry Chapel at 10:30 till 12. And they will do nature thing with the volunteers, and the Oxford Pickle Group is 7 to 7:30.
Yeah, I mean, Goodson, thank you for the work you put into it, and well done. John.
Yeah, I think it's a cracking agenda of things. I think it shows the power of having a good theme. People want to hang things on the thing, and this year the Attenborough theme really kind of resonated with people. And I think next year we've got to think of something that will resonate with people as well. I'm easy about trying next year. I mean, we'll take it into August, of course, and give it a go, and measure it, and compare the two, and then we'll decide what happens in 28.
Thank you, John. Just background, when originally we used to have what they call flexible fortnight, so we got into this with district council used to fund a week, we fund a week, and they sort of ended it with festival fortnight. It has moved one way and another over the years, but we were always snookered because the summer festival, festival fortnight way. So I think aiming with the proactive work that we're doing to try and provide stuff with children, really, when they parents are struggling. I think if you've broke up from school, you're looking for something to do, and that looks really good to me. Fran?
I'm just looking, Buckingham Secondary, it's looking like they break up next year on the 21st of July, which is Wednesday. So they'll all be around and about then. So the last week in July is actually the 26th to the 31st next year.
Are we, John?
Well, just one thought, it doesn't have to start on a Monday.
Yeah.
It could just start on the first day of the school holidays, and then go through from a week from there. And that's a radical idea.
Yeah, no,
Have to start.
I agree with that, because if we go from the 26th to the 1st of August, that's last weekend is a weekend where traditionally lots of people go away for holidays, depending on, the 2 weeks off at the start of August. So it's not a bad idea starting on a Wednesday or Thursday and finishing on a Wednesday or Thursday.
Town Park.
Yes, I think it might be slightly confusing messaging if it's not a week. You'd have to have a complete rename and rebrand of it. I would just say I appreciate what you're saying about people being on holiday. But a lot of people won't be on holiday. Their kids should be doing something on it. Or...
But can I ask that?
I was going to say, I'll propose that we accept the recommendation to look at the dates for next year, to move it forward and make sure that it's not during the last week of term.
That's proposed by Fran and seconded by John. And all those in favour? Thank you for a good discussion. Now that item 8, I believe the town clerk's going to take us through the rationale for this, which is Martin's Law, which is quite a big the town clerk can sort of take us through the rationale as it was.
So Martin's Law, which is, as it's in the report, the Terrorism Protection of Premises Act 2025, is a new quite substantial piece of legislation that's coming in. It's been championed by the mother of one of the victims of the Manchester Arena attack. And it's quite detailed, but the point behind it is it makes event organisers and premises managers far more responsible for protecting their premises and considering the potential for a terrorist attack. This is, you can imagine, we've had quite a few instances recently. It's not just the terrorism, there's also been, say, the Liverpool football parade where it was a road rage. All of these things have built up into this piece of legislation, where we have to be quite proactive about how we would protect crowds of people coming to our events. There's lots of discussion because this legislation hasn't really been completely finalised yet, exactly how it's going to play out. And I know that both Paula and Soventus and Frame, where they've got a slightly different version of what exactly it would apply to. But the facts are that morally, as far as our insurance company is concerned, and as far as our standards are, we should be being compliant with this legislation, regardless of whether actually technically we are. Yeah. We have to. Some of our more complicated events, I'm thinking Christmas parade is an obvious one. Very difficult to technically look at how we will properly protect that event up to a standard that would be expected of us. Therefore, there are some specialists who have a lot of experience with helping organise these larger events, and I recommend that we engage somebody to have a look and give us a little bit of help as to what we need to do to get ourselves up to the standard expected.
Thank you, Town Clerk. What I will say is that we're not the only organisation that already looking at this. What I do know is in other authorities which when travel even through, everybody's looking at this. And I think it's fair to say that the legislation doesn't really help the people who have got to enforce the actions of the legislation. It's rather, there's not, Town Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, it's rather sort of, this is legislation, this is what we expect you to do, we haven't told you what we've got to do. But it's rather hopefully some clarity will come out near the time, because it puts all the responsibility back downwards where without guidance. So that's what I've worked out from it. So I absolutely understand what Town Clerk wants to do. This is just the world we are sadly living now. If we don't do it, we don't do it, and then it's happened, we would be challenged remarkably going forward. So, members, what's your views?
I think that it's something we need to do. There's nobody within our organisation who's got the proper qualifications and the proper knowledge to be able to do the work that's necessary. It's a specialist field. So I propose that we go with the recommendations.
Are you seconding it, John?
I might, yes, but I need to say something as well. Okay, I mean, in terms of hiring a consultant, what we don't want, I think, is a kind of bland report of what any town council should do, because the risk I fear is that we could hire somebody who gives us a kind of boilerplate kind of report, which could have been given to Aylesbury or could have been given to whatever. I mean, what we're looking for, I'm hoping, It's something that's specific to Buckingham and the challenges that we face here in this town. Otherwise, this is a job for NALC or BMCalc or whatever to advise us as, you know, as a significant, you know, town council that organises lots of events, and we're not alone in that. You know, if there are general points on that, then that information and that cost should come from somewhere else, in my view. So if it's about saying, in the nature of the events, of the kind of events that we run in the town that is Buckingham, and it's specific to that, then it could be very good value. But not good value if we just get generic stuff.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I'd be used to deal with town.
Frank might come back now, can be town clerk.
The recommendation is that an outside consultant is commissioned to review relevant events to ensure BTC are compliant with our legal responsibilities. So I think that does pin that down, that it is reviewing our events rather than giving us an overview of generic things. What I would like to ask before we move any further on is where this report will then sit, whether once that if we vote to go with this, will that come back to this this committee for us to review and look at in terms of specific events, in confidential if necessary?
In answer to the first question, we've been on training, I've been on training, so Paul have been on training, there's been lots and lots of training. So we've done all the generic stuff. I know now SLCC of themselves are struggling to understand exactly how the law will be applied. I think I'm looking as much as even if we just put Martin's law out of it, I have concerns about some of our how we can make them safe and we can protect people coming to these events from all manner of different hazards. And but we've got some that are quite big and quite complicated. I think it would be really useful to get somebody to come and look very specifically at. I mean, my first thought, I'll be honest, is the Christmas parade is the biggest one. Start with that and see what learning there is that can cascade down. How we can possibly protect that event to the standard that our insurance company and the law and morally we should be expected to do. So yes, any report would come back here with any recommendations and discussions. I think we will probably end up having to spend quite a bit of money. I'm being realistic, and that's one of the reasons why when the precept went through and we talked about EMR as well, there has been an EMR put aside to spend some money on what barriers, protections we need to put in place. If you go to any large event now where there's crowds of people, you will see concrete bollards, you will see all manner of protections in. I know we've done the marathon recently, I imagine that was an absolute nightmare to protect against with all manner of
people giving me beer on the route.
barriers and things to protect somebody driving into that space. So it's not straightforward.
I've got Rubina and Tony and then John again.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that will they be bringing out a checklist or, you know, the points that each council will have to go through, because that might save us having to have a consultant for each event, or when we know we have a checklist that we have to get through for the safety.
There are
to meet
checklists that
measures.
say things along the lines of protect against vehicular access. No, okay. How are we doing that? How do we stop somebody that's determined to drive through the middle of the Christmas parade? How do we physically stop that from happening? And that's the standard and the questions that we need to start asking ourselves.
Yeah.
We can put we can block it with a vehicle, but then again we go to vehicles can be smashed into, and you can smash a vehicle deep into a crowd, so you need to get a backspace behind that. These are all quite technical considerations, and with our smaller events, it's relatively straightforward, and you can think of ways that we might be able to barrier them across. But with the bigger ones, there are various types of mobile anti-vehicle protection that you could put in place, and I think it's a specialist. And the sort of people we would be looking at are people who are helping advise councils who are already putting on quite substantial events. And as the chair says, we are not unique in this. You can't go to a meeting of clerks without this topic coming up. People are talking a lot about it, and it will be very impactful.
Tony?
First of all, I'd like to say I agree with much of what you say. It's not going, I've got a health and safety background, I'm not a specialist in this area. But yeah, so I agree with what Claire is saying. It's not going to be long before lone wolf terrorists, whatever you want to call them, okay, are going to go move away from this city, start probably attacking our small towns because they're going to be easier to get at. And what have you, and big occasions are going to be the things that they aim for, because the most powerful weapon someone can have is a car at the moment, never mind explosives or it, but it is a car. And what have you. So I would go ahead with what Claire is recommending. One thing I do think is there is potential, and it's a minimal potential, of the Christmas parade, obviously, because it is easy accessible, and what have you. And the same is this for the Christmas light switch on and what have you. One thing that could be thought of is actually closing the road from the butchers, the jail end, and that costs money, to the White Hart end, so that whole area is open for the Christmas parade, and then you've got some control over things because people are zooming past, aren't they, all the
I
time?
mean, the Christmas lights just.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yes, that sort of thing. But just thinking ahead, but there will be a cost to it. It won't. There will be elements of the reports that will be generic because there's statutory things, but it will also be specific to what's dangerous here. You know, they do look at things individually. It's not just money-making thing for all these people. They do because you know they want to look at it properly. So that's just my thoughts.
I'm conscious that other members.
You've got John.
John was going to come back. John, I'm conscious before we move Andy and Lisa and Mr. Poppy haven't spoken. So I just wonder what their views on that is, because we should at least the other, you know, then come back to people who want to get.
I know that myself and Claire have spoken about it before, and it is a concern that she's had for a while at a big event, so I'm totally for it, absolutely. If it gives our officers peace of mind, and then us, and then our residents, it's not a bad thing, absolutely.
I agree with what's been said across the table. And we've had an incident where a car, not intentionally, but did come across from the post office end and onto the thing. I don't know whether you remember it.
Yeah.
And yes, so we did put some bollards and concrete blocks since, but I think we may have stepped back a bit slightly.
Yeah, again, I agree. It's something that we have to do to meet the legislation and to keep people safe. And it's a specialist area. There will be people out there who are doing similar things for other towns and cities. So.
Thank you. I couldn't wrap. And then John again. And John.
Yeah, I'm just yes, obviously I support this. I'm a little bit worried about how much it's going to cost, because the number of people who can do this kind of work is not big. It'll probably grow. It's not big at the moment. And to be honest, if you want them to review the dangers and safety and everything else, and say, you know, the fair or the Christmas parade and so on, the first thing we're going to say is, I need to see it.
Yeah.
And that means days, and whether they're charging £500 a day or £1,000 a day, that bill's going to ratchet up really darn quickly. So I think we need to get advice from now BM Camp and so on, as to where we go for procurement, because there's a big bag of risks.
John, just saying, now I don't know what they're doing on this as we would have responsible. It's such new legislation that we're very much seeing, unlike other communities, I come back to the travellers waiting in the ravine of the Clark. Because it's such a new legislation, everybody's learning. I quote, you should have to be responsible for health and safety on the fire authority, and even the fire authorities having to go and look deeply into this, which you think what eventually do, and but they still do this. Yes, we've got on the firefighter, we've employed real big safety officers who their stock and trade is safety, But this legislation sits outside their norms, which makes it very difficult. I might learn something there, but it's not relevant to here, if you see what I mean.
May I answer this?
Yes.
I have asked around by other clerks of large towns who have large events and are already putting mitigation in place for recommendations. I anticipated in about £3,000 for very specific advice.
On one event or on the whole event?
I would imagine we'll start the Christmas period with us get that going down.
Okay, right.
Thank you. I can do Fran there.
I would say, sorry, that the individual, the type of people I'm looking at have a track record of having done this thing. So the clerk at Henley, for instance, is one of the first people I've spoken to. They obviously have quite a lot of experience of having big events that they need, that are high profile, that they need to effect. So that's the kind of place that I've been looking to get advice on.
But it takes time for everybody and then sort of bring it forward.
I think it needs to be remembered, Tony talks about lone wolf terrorism attacks. I think the majority of incidents that have happened recently, and I'm thinking about in Liverpool when that guy followed an ambulance through the road closure and mowed down all those people during the Liverpool's parade thing. I don't think they are actually terrorists as such. A lot of them are either people who just got cross for some reason, or they've got mental health issues. I don't think that we're necessarily always looking at organised terrorism or terrorists or people who have been what's the word? Radicalised, that's the one. Yeah. So just wanted to say that one, like, because that does it spreads it.
Accidents.
Yeah, but it's not accidents.
They're deliberate acts.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. My point was, let me just come back to it. Sorry, I was just thinking about what Fran has just said. Yeah, I was going to ask, will there be any additional funding coming into our town council to help us cover these costs? Because if it's a legal requirement, then surely there should be something.
From whom?
Government. Yeah, the government or, Bucks Council, I don't know.
I'm not aware of any grants available for this. The application, and bear in mind, it's not just local authorities, this is anybody, event management companies, arena owners, arena owners, all of those sorts of, it applies to everybody. I'm not aware that there is any funding available.
Okay.
We've got an earmark reserve in the recommendation. Doesn't mean why it's better than that reserve. That's there to, we'll do it. I think my view is that we need to, while moving on, hopefully agree the recommendation that we have to be reminded to that we're going to be reviewing the report and we're going to have another round of discussing what the report says and what level and granular detail that report. Now that may come to this, as the Mayor said earlier, may end up having to be confidential. It will be advised on that, and we do need to be mindful of the fact we don't know what the report is going to be, so we should try and draft it. So, and we may learn more from other places en route.
I was just going to say that should something come up within this report that basically says that we can't do something, or the cost to make it safe is prohibitive, are we giving the town clerk the authority to make decisions on that as the responsible officer? Because the buck stops there. If we've had advice to say without it having to come back to this committee, that's what I'm asking.
No, it will come back to the committee. We ask the report, we have to make that decision. Otherwise, we could understand in orders. We have to agree these things. That's what we're here for. The town clerk will heavily advise us, and we would be advised to listen to what the town clerk says. We're going to do that. We might as well all go home and let everything else be done like that. So I think it's such a heavy decision. it's a difficult decision, it's an important decision that I think we need to discuss it in full.
Well, I propose that we go with recommendations 1.1 and 1.2.
I think I've already proposed that.
Did you?
Yeah, I think maybe I've seconded it, earlier.
I was just going to say, I'm not anticipating any high risk events between now and the next meeting, and I would hope to have them all ready to submit for the next meeting.
Excellent.
Obviously, if there is an imminent danger or something crops up and we have to take instant action to avert imminent danger, then obviously I would do that. But otherwise, my intention is that we would bring it back to the next meeting.
Good.
Thank you, seconded by, proposed by Fran, seconded by Lisa. All those in favour? Thank you. Can I thank officers of the report for finally looking to discussing this. They've not come to this easily, that must be noted. Thank you. In which case we'll move on to something slightly lighter. The Youth Council survey, which both of us do. It's one of these things. So who's you under that?
I didn't do it, but Anna did.
Anna, yeah, you're going to do that. Well done, then.
So it's big and there's a lot for you to consider. So it's recommended that you know the findings of the youth engagement survey, particularly the low level of interest, which was only 16% in having a traditional council. So looking forward to support the development of a more flexible and informal youth engagement approach rather than a fixed youth council, which will look at then improving the exploration of event-based and drop-in youth voice initiatives integrated into our current programme, and encourage the implementation of pilot engagement activities to just test the water and see how we can get better feedback. I'm happy to go through the rest of the report if you haven't had the opportunity to read it, but it essentially underpins why she's made those recommendations. So I don't know how you'd like me to proceed.
Please.
I think it's a very good report, and can we thank you for doing it, please? And I'm happy to go to recommendations because I think a lot of us on the table understand how, and I'm involved that they tried to get a youth council off the ground again, and it you know, meeting young people where they are is where they are. Like I used to say 2 years ago, Sean, brilliant, like advocate for his age group.
Yeah.
No way he could sit around the table at all. So yeah, it just makes total sense. So I'm happy to go to recommendations.
Yeah, I agree with Lisa. I think it's a great report by Anna, and I think we have to recognise the fact that we don't really put on anything much for that age group at all. And also the world has changed massively. I think most engagement has to be through social media and having some sort of interaction there on channels which are on platforms that they use. And Anna is a great person because she's so much younger, and she's aware of everything going on, and that's her specialist area. So I'd really like to listen to her ideas on this, on taking it further forward.
So we went to and second the report. Yeah. So just before we go, I'd like to say, I propose that we all conclude that we thank Anna.
Definitely.
We'll make sure she's aware of that because, yeah, let's be realistic around this table. We're not that close to this age group, and we have to recognise that. And we have struggled with this. And this is a breakthrough. I see it as a breakthrough. So all in favour? Thank you very much.
So what is Councillor O'Donoghue first, and then Councillor second, and then Oceana.
Yes. Right, in which case we'll move on to item 10, which is annual event. Should we have to note that?
Yeah.
Thank you. In which case we'll move on to all of those work on events, which is 11.1, Green Craft Fair.
So the recommendation is to consider moving the Green Crafts from it took place on the Sunday, the final Sunday of the Easter holidays this time. Traditionally it has been on a Sunday. it was quite cold. In fact, it was very wet when we were packing up. We were absolutely drenched, but a number of families came out and really enjoyed it. But they did know that it costs more to park on a Sunday. That some, you know, they've not been able to go to clubs and things because they wanted to come there. And I think the turnout would have been much higher had it been a weekday. And I think on a Sunday, especially at the end of the holidays, parents get things ready for school. It's quite hard. So we ran the dinosaur event in the first week of the holidays, which was extremely popular. And I think had we done the green crafts in the second week of the holiday, we can do it on the Tuesday, but in the cattle pens, I think it would be much more popular and much better for families. The kids, and they all enjoyed it, families enjoyed it. It was a lovely event. They made lots of things out of natural materials and went home with goodie bags full of things they've made. But I think it would be better for the families of Buckingham.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Paula for another great event. I did speak to someone whose child went and they thoroughly enjoyed it. But I agree with the recommendation of moving it from the final Sunday to a weekday.
Yeah.
And I'd like to propose that we go with the recommendation.
I thought it was great events. It was a bit chilly. I'd like to particularly thank Catherine for teaching me to crochet. I'm still trying to practice it. I've not got to the stage that I can actually do anything that I would show anybody else yet, but I've got some basics. And I agree with Robina that yeah, thank you very much, and we should go with the recommendation, so I second that.
Before we vote on it, John.
I thought it.
In which case, all those in favour of the recommendation? Looks like proposed by Ravina, seconded by thank you. Thank you for that. Now we move on to 11.3, which is in the very close living memory, and it was a much warmer day. Paul.
May Day with the Bolton Meadow Academy, and we had 3 schools take part. So Page Hill had to pull out at the last minute really because they had a staff shortage. But we had Bolton Meadow Academy, Lace Hill and George Grenville. Fran was the star. She opened the event and then kept it going in between. I wasn't really expecting it, but you did it and it was wonderful. And told people what was going on, and that was really good. The kids were smashing. The head of PE at Bolton Meadow took it on after Debbie Dealove had recently retired, but he did a sterling job. It was nicely organised from their point. It was a nice event.
Thank you. Are we happy? Thank for the work. Are you happy to agree recommendation?
Yeah.
I'd just like to thank Paula and Craig for the work that they put in on it, and I think Anna was there as well, if I remember rightly. Yeah, please can we minute our thanks. It was it worked really well. Good fun.
Are you proposing?
Just to know
Just a
I'm just saying thanks.
Okay. Brief note report, which means we'll move on to Buckingham Live, which is our recommendation. Forward.
Okay, so
And Dave was over there, well, you both can join in, that'd be good.
So it just continued to sponsor the event. It was a successful event, very long and very warm day. There weren't really instruments. It was very hot. So it was amazing. And the only part that was a little bit I don't know, contentious was the parking. Parking's very limited there, and so did a sterling job, a difficult job of fielding all the members who wanted to come in on the day, and everyone who decided they wanted to park, and every act that wanted 6 cars and all of those things, and so amazingly managed to juggle it all. I don't know how, but it was really good. There were no incidents. The traders didn't do as well during the day because it was extremely hot. People don't tend to eat hot food, but as the evening started and it cooled down a bit, it was much, they were much busier and they went away happy. So it was a good event with nice music.
So, yeah, you can help.
Well, you know, I don't want to make it a BTC Appreciation Society, but we did the event and I managed a car park. It was, it went really well, and there was a good number of people there of different ages, different demographics, and people stayed for the day, which is what we want, really. There was no silliness, even though people were, you know, well lubricated. There was no silliness, and it was a pleasant evening. And I have to say, I know it's only my second one, but I actually thought the acts were better this year than they were last year. Susie did a really good job. I thought the acts were stronger for me, my choices this year than they were last year. We've got a few things that we think we could make some improvement, nothing massive, nothing major.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fran and
I
Tony.
think Tony was first.
Tony.
Just really that it was a great day. I only managed to get there from 6 o'clock, about £5 a pint. I was well lubricated by the end of it and even danced to the last act. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I felt it in the morning. And what have you, but we should make it a BTC or the staff appreciation item actually, because what you've done for the day on a really hot day, the fact that you guys were out there all day and later on we'd all gone home, what have you, it just made it a fantastic day, and it's a great event for the town, and it is a success moving it to where it is. So well done.
I think it felt safe, and we've been talking about safety. It felt safe.
Yeah.
The security were brilliant. You know, it came together really well.
Fran.
Yes, BT2 Appreciation Society. Need to include the Green Spaces boys in that, because they were there emptying bins, putting up the fencing in the morning. They were all day long. Didn't stop really. I say they didn't stop, but yeah, okay. They did have short breaks, which they needed to do. It was good. It was a really nice event. It felt really safe. There was so many children running around and kicking footballs and everything else. And at the end of the night, I was so pleased. I did ask people as I went on stage at the end and sort of like did a bit of a closing thing and asked people to pick up the rubbish and put it in a bin nearby. And when I came back, all the piles of rubbish that had been on the field were gone. So that went really well. So I think people appreciated it. There was thanked so many times by people as I was walking around. So yeah, it was really good. So thank you, Paula. So all the great spaces to me, and Susie for pulling the whole thing together.
I mean, from my point of view, one of the things like personally, I'm a whole group of people. Right, one of them was my granddaughter, and they all sat in the shade, and there was a whole load of people all tucked up there in the shade of their little ones. We'd allowed people to put there was some extra gazebos, but they were down out of the way of it. It was remarkable this year. I think I got away, or two when I actually left, but they finished taking the stage down about 1:20, which was a lot earlier than last year, and it was a lot warmer. So and I stayed there to make sure before they left, and with everyone out just about a long enough day, and I'm quite nocturnal anyway, so it didn't really affect me. And you know, we had to thank the football club because they actually, you know, the football club worked tightly with it, and I talked to them afterwards. They found that the outside bar worked very well, because the outside bar meant that not so many people tried to crowd into the building. So that meant the bar of the building, and there was also an unusual football end of the season feel, wasn't there? But there won't necessarily be another time. So I mean, reactions to all involved in it, but I think we should, with the committee's agreement, write a letter of thanks to the football club and a letter of thanks to Susie for their combined efforts, and they know that it's actually really appreciated. Many in it's not the same. Susie messaged me only today, asked me if she could have a copy of some video that I'd done, which I sent her, when she was performing. I think it went through. Yeah, I think it's really good. And if you remember when we originally discussed this, the pushback we had about moving it down there. And I think it's now actually worked out really remarkably well, hasn't it? And it's grown. So that decision that we took to move it down there was the right decision, wasn't it? And it's growing and growing. So that's my bit. Thank you.
Just a point on the taking down the stage, they'd had somebody injured or had to go off to hospital or something last year, so they were at least one person down in the crew to take the stage down last year, which is probably why it was taken down a bit quicker this year.
We had an issue with their vehicle, but we managed that before their vehicle was rendered immovable for a period of time.
Paul managed that very well.
They managed to do that whilst the event was going on, so that it didn't hold everything up. But at one point, their van wasn't operational.
Yeah, I'll put your high vis on.
I mean, one of the things you must know, one of the things that's remarkable with them, they know where every bit of cabling goes, because they don't pack it away when they take it down to the right place. When they get to the next place, that would take them 15 hours to sort out the cabling. Quite methodical, and they have to do it in a certain order. But no, it was good, and thank you for that. We asking to give us a recommendation.
I think
Seconded.
Tony seconded it. All those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you with the additions of the letters. Thank you. Which means we'll move on to the action list, which seems there's not very much like an action after we've just discussed. So that list. Can we note the action list?
Yes.
Yeah, noted.
Yeah,
Thank you. As you can see, we will receive an update on the emergency climate action plan, as you realise that's being worked on, so that will come back to us. So we note that. 14 updates on outside bodies. It always sounds good. And as well, just nothing to do with this, but just because of the disquiet over planning, I've got a written question of going to cabinet because of the continued disquiet about planning information not being available to council. I don't think it will necessarily do any good, but at least flagged it up again as a concern. I received that.
Sorry, I was going to raise the fact that Bucks are just putting the parking charges up again, but it's not an agenda item, so I don't know. I just wanted to say that I don't think that's going to help at all. As the town centre and the rates committee, I think we need to.
I think that one of the things is that they have the legal right to put charges up. If they do a substantive change of the charges after the consultation, so I do think that we had, it's not on the agenda, so we can't make this, but I do think generally, as a member of the authority, they'll go around and say that, oh, it was agreed at this and agreed at that, but it's not good. And I think
Shall we move on?
We'll move on. Yeah, thank you, Karen. We'll move on. We're going to move on.
I know.
It's your fault.
You started, yeah.
You started the conversation. That's what we've got. Let's start the conversation. Then I'll finish it.
I didn't finish it.
No. I just carried it on. Anyway, that's enough. Right. In which case, we move on to news releases.
So I can say to you that we do all our event reports and the news releases and post ones, and they get sent off to the usual suspects, and they will publish them as if they are picked in the press release lottery or however they are managed.
Going to chairman's items, I think I'd like to take you. Today I was in a meeting in Buckinghamshire, and it was commented on how good Anna's social media is, and it was commented on how good it looks on line. And the person's really picked up, that's really doing well. I think, it's worth saying on Chairman's after that I heard it somewhere else, and we never say well done to people, but when other people are noticing it, that's good.
Yeah,
the chair, the clerk from Beaconsfield, town councillor, who's a personal friend of mine, has also commented and said, she sent me a message and said how good our social media is.
Yeah, thank you. I want to pass that back to Anna. I should say that lots of members of the team contribute towards the social media.
But
over here today, Anna is obviously the main contributor, but
the fact that we're getting so I don't do the social media, I sometimes populise these things happening, but when you get a positive comment from somewhere else saying, aren't they doing a good job? I think it's very important to say it.
thank you. We'll pass that back.
Whatever is in the team doing it, so we pass on that thanks.
Yeah.
But if we've been noticed in Beaconsfield, whatever there.
They will poach our staff. That's right.
Anyway, I think I know who the clerk is, she won't be poaching after long. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for starting the meeting, and thank you for the seriousness that you dealt with the major items on the agenda tonight. And I think we had a good discussion about that. We'll have another discussion. And the date of the next meeting will be on July the 20th, which will all be another sunny evening. And for me, that's thank you very much for the board. We'll close the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.